Alright, so this is the parking and or staging area. Basically everything on this side of the road is what we typically use for anybody to park. And then we set up Chrono right over there, kind of on the shore, so that we're shooting out into the water for the Chrono. So we can put some tables over there. The last time we did a safety briefing, we actually did it over here around the fire pit. It seemed to be a good meeting place. Everybody had their cars, but they came here. And then this is where we had both the devotion and the safety briefing. So this is the area that I would recommend that we go ahead and have all of our cars parked and everything. And this road is a great delineator of, hey, this is where you're crossing into the field. What we did last time is we actually put up some cones out here in the field basically as the fire line, so nobody was allowed to fire on that side of the line, and then the road was goggles off. So what we did, and it may not be far enough, you'll have to tell me from your perspective. Alright, Matthew, so as I was saying earlier, this is usually the line that we create. We usually use this big tree right here, and then we put cones all the way across, so that there's kind of a logical line here of, okay, guns cannot be fired past this point, mags out, and then when you get over to the road, it's, okay, goggles can be off. Now that I'm looking at it, that looks a little bit short, so perhaps we need to move it up even further to maybe this tree line over here. The nice thing about our games is that nobody should be, firing after the game is over. Once we say the game is done, it should be, everybody is done, all mags are out. But you do have that instance where somebody goes back to reload, they got a malfunction or something, and you don't want them goggles off way over there and then getting hit in the back of the head with the BB because there's an intense battle going on over here. So you'll have to tell me, you can walk this with me. Maybe this is going to be a better line right through here. That gives some adequate distance. This is the tree farm. So here all the way back to the clearing, the road is the tree farm. And I'm going to go ahead and just walk that before we go anywhere else. And, again, we have no barriers out here. We have no, sort of forts or anything like that. It really is just open field with some trees in it. But this is the most sort of airsoft-friendly or ready area, because everything else is sort of overgrown, and I'll show you those areas in a second. Very, very kind of large field. I think it does well for putting things in the middle, like flags, and dispersing all sorts of pieces of something that need to be assembled as far as an objective. That certainly is, it's got enough space to do that. Some of the kids over there created a blind just by grabbing some limbs and putting them up. Now, I just did talk to the landowner, and we are able to build some stuff out here, so we could actually build stuff back in the trees. He has no problem with that, which is quite interesting. So that's a new commitment that we just got. The one thing that I did want to show you, there are some huge holes out here that make really, really nice sort of trenches or bunkers, and they're apparently where trees have come up. You can kind of start to see them in the ground as I'm walking along. And these suckers, this has been mowed recently, but these can sneak up on you when you're running full speed, and all of a sudden you run up on one of these and it's covered by grass. I mean, that's a pretty good sized hole. If my memory serves me correct, there were some bigger ones out this direction. Yeah, they just mowed this whole area, which is good for us, I think, because it gives us more playing area. These are just ruts where somebody's been driving through here. I'm trying to remember where the other holes were. Ah, yeah, there's some over here. And they're just random out here, where trees have, I guess, died or gone under, and some of them are pretty significant. This guy was one that I was remembering before. I mean, you can hurt yourself falling down into that. So I think in the video, if you watched it from the one that I shot for our last event, all of this was tall grass. I mean, we're talking, you know, 4 foot, 3.5 foot grass. And now it's all been mowed. And you can tell this is not a pristine area. I mean, there's stuff out here that you have to be careful about. I mean, I don't know what this stuff is that's down here. It looks like some sort of rubber mat, but I mean, there's no guarantees that there's not stuff out here that you should stay away from, because it's just land. So that's part of the safety briefing is, you know, don't run headlong into stuff without looking at it. There's a lot of torn up land out here that you need to be careful about. Alright, it looks like to me that they may have revived this motocross track. I'm hoping that that's the case, because I think this would be a great place to play, because it has these natural berms and such, but it was way overgrown before, so I don't know if they brought the brush hog out here and knocked it down or not. It looks like they've done quite a bit. Yes, they have. So this is going to be a good place to play, because this actually does have some natural barriers that we can use to play. This land gets a lot of people running back here and drinking at night and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. So there's stuff out here that just needs to be thrown away. But you can tell with all of these berms and such, this would make a great little battle area. And it goes, this is not an insignificant sort of little motocross track here. I mean, they've got stuff all the way back through here that they've been developing and putting down. It goes back for a good distance, all the way through. So this is going to be really awesome stuff. And I think back there into the woods is really where we would want to, you know, consider building some structures at some point later on build days, because they said that we could keep that out there, you know, long term. So I'm quite pleased, because they had a boating event out here recently, and they obviously spent some time really knocking this stuff down. This is a lot better than last time. This was completely unusable. So I think there's some good markers back here where maybe perhaps you'd have one team start and they could start at the other end. They could work their way through. Looks like some part of a roof system there. And it gets pretty dense back there in the woods pretty quick here. Alright, let's head up to the front field. This is another one that we used last time that was pretty good. I'll show it to you from where we started on the game last time. So we're kind of approaching it from the backside. It's actually much wider open now that they knocked all this grass down. Again, there's like 4 pits back here that make great bunkers for somebody protecting something. Oh, and there's a boat sitting out in the middle of the woods there. That is too cool. So we may need to use that boat for something. It's just tied up there to a tree. That's pretty cool. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got like 5 bunkers back here in the back of this field. And then we got more holes all through the middle. For some reason, we've got a big thing out there. That's where we hid all of our flags before, or parts. That is a great spot. But basically, we played over there in the tree farm, or we came over this direction and played this sort of slice. And the nice thing is that you've got the road going down in between. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got like 6 little small bunkers over here, all surrounding that wood there in the middle. Here's a dead rag that is no longer red. It used to be a red dead rag. Okay, so what we did before is we had people way down there in the clearing start, and then we started back here by this tree or the pad, whichever one. And basically what you end up having is this trees on the right side of the road and then everything on the left side of the road, and basically you were going for parts and putting something together, getting a certain amount of flags back and pulling them back to your team, that sort of thing. We shouldn't use the tower there. That doesn't mean we can't, you know, there's a bomb that's going to explode that tower or something like that as far as the scenario. But I don't want people climbing up in the tower and shooting down. That's just a liability that I don't think we need to take on. But, you know, you've got some good coverage here on the right. You've got all this stand of trees on the left. And then you've got really, really thick brush on the far side. So this can be incorporated in a larger game that involves all of the field, or this could be a little side game here, a side skirmish off to the side. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that'll be a nice area to do some builds right back here in this little stand. We can put stuff up against trees and really start to build some structures, which would be nice. Alright, this is going to be a longer walk, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off in between so that I can show you things without you having a 45-minute video to watch. So I'm going to turn it off and then I'll walk further. We're basically going to circle this area that is all of their land, and I'll show you some spots which are sort of airsoft ready. But basically I'm going to walk along the side of the water here, the shoreline, all the way up. Alright, just to give you perspective, we haven't really walked that far. There is a sort of clearing to go through there. That's all brush right there, but you can see back into the woods there is sort of a clearing inside of there. This grass was much higher last time I came out, and it had burrs all the way through it. So when you walked through, you ended up with just hundreds of these little burrs all over your clothing. But I don't think that there's any reason to avoid using all this land. I mean, I don't know that you need to hide things way back there in the woods, but I mean, you could theoretically have objectives and pieces of something all over this property, just as long as they're not too deeply hidden. You know, they're visible. This is a really good clearing back through here. Again, the grass is kind of high, but in my mind that makes really good ambush territory. There's a lot of stuff you could do back through here to keep somebody from advancing. Especially if you were doing some sort of you know, escort of VIP from one place to another, keeping them alive or keeping information without losing it. I mean, that area was not that cleared out before. And that joins up with the other one through the woods too. Alright, in my mind this is the back of the property, this little triangle here. This is where the two roads meet. We really do not want to be going any further that way past this clearing. Everything from this triangle back is the property that we need to be staying on. So again, just to give you a perspective, we've been following the shoreline. You can kind of see the building that we sort of aim at when we're doing chrono back there around the bend. And now this triangle heads right back towards 820 and sort of is the point of the pie. So let's walk this area. And this is again a logical road. Down there is a river. Nobody wants to be on that side of the road at all. That's a steep drop off. There's just junk down there. So I think the road really is sort of a safety boundary. We do not want to cross the road over towards the river. And, you know, certainly all of this is playable. It just gets pretty dense back in there quickly when you start going back into the woods. I don't know how many of the kids will get back in there, but we'll see. Some of these branches, you know, these mesquite trees have pretty big thorns on them too, so I think that's fair to warn people, you know, watch what you're running through. Those thorns will catch you and they'll cut right through the camo. I mean, you can just see from here, those trees, these are huge thorns. You do not want to mess with this tree. This would hurt you quite a bit. So that's the type of stuff we don't want kids running through full steam ahead. I don't know, we may want to break off one of those limbs and just show it to them during safety briefing. This is a clear area, it goes back there into the middle where that one spot was I talked to you about. It was just kind of open back there in the middle of the trees. Looked like it'd be a good place to set some objectives. Yeah, I think you can kind of see it through here a little bit. It's just an opening back in there that's nice and clear. Yeah, I don't really want anybody on that side of the road at all. That's just junk down in there. Be losing kids. And now we're sort of bending back towards the highway. You can kind of catch through the clearing there. That's the back side of the tree farm that we're walking up on. See, I wouldn't want to play in any of this right here. This is how tall it was before. I don't like running through stuff like that, but that's just me personal. I'll do it if I have to get away from somebody, but that's a little bit much. Alright, here on our left is the opening into that motocross track. So there's a decent little sort of staging area here by the motocross track too. Of course, there's way too much junk out here from people squatting. But this is the entrance to the motocross, so like I said before, you could have somebody start here, somebody start clear on the other side, and you've got some decent spots to go to have just a skirmish, you know. That is a lot of trash. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and walk back out this way so you can see the tree farm from the back. Again, I really don't want anybody on that side of the road. Yes, there's some land over there. Yes, you can defend yourself. it's just not something I really want to allow because it's going to get too tricky and the field's going to get too big. Let's just say everything from the road in is fair game. This is sort of on the side of the tree farm. All of this is sort of the adjacent field. Really, when you're talking about tree farm, there's this natural split that goes in between. All the start of the trees. This is the tree farm. And so this is the back side of the tree farm. It's a little easier to hide back here when there's taller grass. But again, holes in the ground, sort of. Not really bunkers. I mean, that's too shallow. There's some spots. Some of these are deep enough that you can get inside and actually fight. Now, one thing, and I'll have to need to kind of think this through. These are nice and deep. These work really well. Not a whole bunch of scrub in some of these. One thing is, what about that side of the of the bar or whatever? Last time we allowed people to play in there. I don't know about this time, whether we should or shouldn't. But there certainly was a lot of people trying to flank over there in that brush right along the highway. It's just, you know, it adds an element of risk that I'm not sure we really want to take on. It's pretty thick down there. I know it's a great way to move further up the field, especially with this exposed tree farm. I just don't know if I want people crossing over that rail at all. We might just decide now that, again, the road is the boundary. We don't cross the road. All right, I'm going to stop the video here because I want to go see what's down that path, because that's all land that we can utilize. I don't really like the idea of walking too far to play a game, but I want to see what it's like there on the other side. So I'm going to walk that direction, and then I'll pick back up when I cross back over here. All right, man. All right, back out to the tree farm. That was a useful excursion. It marked that area off the list. Man, this was so different over here when there was lots of grass. I mean, there's just sort of natural places you can go to sort of hide from the BBs. We're going to have to work on some pallets and sections of fencing and things of that nature. Again, I want to say nobody across the road at all. Now I think I've got probably 5 cones, the really large ones that you'd see, you know, normal road or construction cones. What we can do is we can spread them out across here where we want the mags out, no firing. The one other thing that we really want to cover is, you know, hey, you need to go test your weapon. You're checking it out to make sure it's feeding right. That's really what I need you to be, you know, over there by the chrono area, shooting out into the water or something along those lines. But we don't want people over here testing weapons in the middle of, you know, where games aren't being played, things of that nature. So right about there, there's the orange stake in the ground, and that makes a really nice line all the way across here. And you can see there's these two trees, and we got the tire in the middle. Put a couple cones between there, a couple cones out to here, and then this becomes the mag's outline. And the question is that far enough from that area? I think that that's sufficient to have people safe, but we don't have them take their goggles off until they reach the road. And we actually put a cone, because the road right there is right next to the tree, so we don't want the road there. I think what we did is we put a cone over here, and we said, once you cross the road past this tree, then you're safe. So basically, you can take goggles off if you're from here down that road, and this is how far you are from that tire. So I don't know if you think that's too close, but people parked right here last time and then all the way back the other way. Perhaps that's a little too close for this parking spot, I don't know. We can control that. Alright man, that's the end of the video. I'm going to send this to you hopefully tonight if I can get it all spliced up, and hopefully that helps you with planning. Alright, talk to you later.